parents and you find yourself asking, is it really selective mutism, or is there something more? Would I be right in thinking that maybe my child has autism, but autism, selective mutism, are they both the same things? This is what I'm going to be chatting to you today, and I hope to have been able to give you some clarity by the end of this video. This is video. This is a second part video, and I have the first part where I talk about the commonly mistaken characteristics of selective mutism and autism. I'm really curious to hear where you're from. So if you have a child or a teenager and you've been worrying about that, comment below and let me know how old your child is and if it's a boy or a girl. I really love actually learning more about statistics and gender around selective mutism. So in the previous video which was last week, I have talked about the differences, and today I just want to look at just a few more points and also talking about treatments. Now, when we look at selective mutism and autism, I'm not surprised that they are commonly mistaken for each other from a professional point of view, because there are times that your child might exhibit the same symptoms and behavior, but there are actually cases when one can suffer from both of them at the same time. But there are aspects that will tell them apart. So selective mutism, for example, only happens during certain social interactions and only in specific situations. Because in fact, when your child or the child is in a non-stressful environment, they can communicate well and freely. On the other hand, those with autism can display communication issues regardless of the environment, regardless if the environment is stressful or not. Fortunately, though, there are ways of managing both. And one of the things that I always say is early diagnosis and intervention are key to overcome selective mutism as a child. So, although we know that there are loads of therapies to help manage autism, and I am not expert. I have not specialized in autism. I'm a specialist in sounds, so like dyspraxia and all sorts of other things, multilingualism and selective mutism. But really what we want to look at is that there are loads of ways of helping children with selective mutism, and we want to use approaches, and I want to talk to you about them, that would actually work well with both. But if your child also has been diagnosed with autism, you've got to put the cap on in terms of the social aspect. So before I go ahead and I tell you 4 treatments that they're very helpful, I want you to keep in mind that one of the biggest difference is that children can overcome selective mutism, and we need obviously to manage it properly from an early age. And yes, there are adults and teenagers that will take it longer, but there is a lot of hope that they will get better in terms of using their voices. But unfortunately, from the autism point of view, there is no currently cure to to autism. So what we're looking for is therapies that can help people manage the behavioral difficulties. And as I explained the last time, autism is like an ice cream sundae. So every child will be different. But there are structured educational programs that you can look into it. And of course, you want to find a specialist. So one of the main things that we want to look at is positive reinforcement. And that's the first one. What does that mean? Is that we are going to identify a behavior that works well or your child can achieve, and do that in activities. And both school, parents, and therapists, we provide a positive reinforcement through these activities so your child has success. Those activities are always structured by age, and they are structured by what your child likes. Now, I in particular work with younger children. I do treat teenagers, but mainly I treat children between the age of 3 to 10. So the games obviously are appropriate to their liking, but also to their abilities. And I always look where your child is in the scale of confident speaking. Another technique or treatment method is what we call stimulus fading, which is another treatment and is really increasing slowly the number of people your child can speak in front of to begin with. And that helps your child to outgrow the fear of talking in front of them to begin with, then speaking to them using one word. Because, in another video, I will definitely make you understand that there is a big difference between I'm happy to have my voice heard to I'm actually spontaneously speaking. Is not the same thing. The third aspect is desensitization, and it is done by exposure. We want to expose your child in situations where communication is necessary. And that is done through my family dynamic approach, where you will be learning not to answer or not to speak or not to communicate on behalf of your child. Or if you're doing it through a step-by-step, because otherwise it would be a maintaining factor that you are doing it instead of your child, because your child can't do it. Obviously, desensitization is always done through a program, and you will get emotional support and guidance in exactly what to do, because actually you can undo a lot of the good thing that you've done because you want to rock the boat or push them a lot. The third aspect that we talk a lot about is to give your child a lot of practice in social interaction. And again, that is linked to the one just before this, because we want to expose your child to interact with others, because communication will happen through social interaction. And that again is done on a step-by-step by inviting friends for a play date, going for a walk if your child is slightly older. So doing interactions like going to the gym, because what we are noticing, experts and professionals like myself, that we work on with children and families around selective mutism, is that they are learning to avoid a lot of the social interactions, but they need to have those non-verbal skills like communicating with their hands and everything else before they can actually communicate through their voice. And they need to feel relaxed and relax around their throat and everything else. And they need to feel, I can be in a social situation, and then we can look into steps towards communication. Social interaction practice or interaction with peers, I would say, is the most common treatment because it's something that is practical and you can do on a regular basis, and you should not stop doing that. And I know that now, all of those treatment sessions are really important, but underneath, there has to be a really important base, and that is strengthening you as the parent or as the parents in specific behaviors that I don't want you to maintain, but also to pass on what is my life cause, which is making people understand that selective mutism is more than the fear of talking. And the second part is selective mutism is not a choice. People need to understand that your child is not choosing. And actually, I do have parents that say, oh gosh, Anna, I'm frustrated. I know that he can do it, but I just need to push more because now is the time to speak. And that will go into forcing them to speak. But we can't force them. We just need to take little steps. I guess that what I'm trying to say is that we need to find good understanding. We really need to have we need to understand where we are as adults, that being the parents, that being the professionals, that being the teachers, and we need to create a team around the child. So on reflection on everything that I said today, I am just really curious in where are you as the adult there you're supporting your child in understanding selective mutism? What is your, major pain? What is that you've not been able to help your child doing? Do you feel that you're stuck? And just comment below, because I love coming back and reflecting together with you in where you're at in this. But also, when you are posting things in my Facebook group, Selective Mutism, My Child is Scared of Talking, I love how people actually are connecting, but remember really always to put the age of your child. I would like to thank you for being here today, and next time I will have a guest, and I am so excited. I will have a colleague with me. She's a speech and language therapist as well, Michelle Macaulay. She is from Northern Ireland, and she's like me, not only has the passion for selective mutism, but she's also, like me, a mum of a child that is going, she still has selective mutism. Mine has recovered. And Michelle is going to help us all look at all the different branches that we are noticing here about selective mutism and problems with sleeping, problems with eating, fear of other things. And we're just going to discover those different branches, and we're going to be looking at, where is your child in all of that? I would like to thank you for, always posting questions. If you have any other questions, do not hesitate to post them below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel because I post most weeks. Every day is a new day, but remember, you make your own sunshine. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next week.